Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill on a Thursday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how are you?
I'm doing great, and for once, I'm going to agree with T-Bob and Hester. For me, it is not the weekend, but for Hunt Palmer, the weekend has started on Thursday.
It is starting on Thursday. I am headed to the beach here in a couple of hours after we shut this thing down. You and Mario are going to pilot this thing on a Football Friday tomorrow, but before then, we are locked and loaded. I'm fired up about today's show. Coach Matt McMahon, LSU basketball, going to join us in 15 minutes from right now. I chatted with Coach McMahon for the pregame show a couple of weeks ago. They've had some practices, and they're going to get things cranked up here in a couple of weeks. But we'll talk about Coach McMahon's team with him here in 15 minutes. Luke Johnson with the Saints. They made a huge announcement we're about to talk about yesterday, so we'll talk to Luke about the black and gold. Got to get my gambling picks for the SEC before I get out of here at the top of the second hour. We've dipped below 500 for the first time all year, so we got some work to do there. I'll give you my picks on the SEC games. Bowl projections are out. Where's LSU potentially headed? And, of course, it is Thursday, so best win and worst loss on the board in college football and the National Football League. But we start in New Orleans, where yesterday Dennis Allen announced that Jameis Winston is healthy and can play, and they're going with Andy Dalton. And in my opinion, that very, very firmly puts the New Orleans Saints organization in quarterback purgatory.
Yeah.
You know that Andy Dalton is not going to be the answer long term. And you've determined that right now you don't think it's Jameis Winston either. So there are a couple places you can be with a quarterback. You can have your franchise guy, which is a blessing. You can have a young guy that you're trying to get to develop, whether he's on the bench or starting, or you can have nothing. And right now the Saints basically have nothing. And it is the worst place you can be.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. It's purgatory. Anytime you have a quarterback controversy this late in the season where your kind of fans are on one side, the coaches are on the other side, no one kind of knows who should point to and really have that guy you can depend on to go out there and win games for you on Sunday. There's no worse spot for you to be. And I knew after that Tampa game, when that turnover bug kind of reared its ugly head for Jameis, I knew all those question marks would seep in for this football team, especially when you got a kind of a backup quarterback that has had some of the success he's had in this league. I knew probably for the long term, I just didn't see that avenue for the Saints to kind of invest the type of money you need to invest in a starting quarterback, which is what it would take for, if you really believed in Jameis. And so looking at kind of where their draft picks are and kind of where they'll be at coming into the draft, you don't feel great about their less unless Sean Payton pulls off a miracle for the Saints football organization. So for the Saints, I think you've seen Dalton make some plays out there this year, but you've kind of seen him kind of go back to kind of what got him, losing his starting job with the Bengals, and that's having those really bad turnovers when you absolutely have to have those situations. And so now you got two guys where you don't really feel amazing about taking care of the football, and when you're going into a football Sunday, that's just a terrible spot to be as a football team.
Yeah, I mean, look, Andy Dalton is 35 years old, and his play has been deteriorating to mediocre for the last 4 seasons. Back in 2018, he threw for 2,600 yards in 11 games. He threw 21 touchdowns. He did turn it over 11 times. In 2019, that was his last year in Cincinnati. That's where he turned it over 14 times. They sent him to Dallas. Dallas signed him. He filled in reasonably well in 9 games there for Dak, 14 touchdowns, 8 picks. Then he went to Chicago last year. They named him starting quarterback, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions for that team. And then you've seen what he's done here for New Orleans. And, yeah, he threw for a lot of yards last week, but he also made 2 horrendous decisions. No one's going to put the Callaway interception. They wouldn't return for a touchdown on him at all. But in the red zone, he makes a terrible decision, and then he throws an awful pick 6. He's aging. He's not getting any better. He's a functional backup who could make you go 3-1 in 4 games, but all the chips were in on Jameis Winston for this franchise, and that was a reasonable decision to make. Did anybody on this set think, man, Jameis Winston, the Saints have got their new guy, this is going to be great? No, everybody questioned it here. I did, you did, I didn't trust Jameis, you didn't trust Jameis. That was our feeling. But we also said, not everybody can throw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Not everyone can do that. So if you can surround him with a little better organization, the weapons that they did, maybe it works. And we didn't even really get enough time to see if it would work because he got hurt in camp, and then he got hurt early in the season. And, yeah, the second half of the Bucs game went terribly. But clearly the Saints staff has seen enough, and they don't believe he can do it, and they're not going to go to him. And Dalton ain't the answer. So now you're sitting there with no answer, and this can take years. Usually takes years to get out of. It's an awful, awful spot. Right now, quite honestly, the best case scenario the Saints could possibly hope for is that Andy Dalton throws 5 picks in the next 2 weeks. They put Jameis in, and he lights it up. That's what you have to hope for. And at that point, you've kicked this season so far down the sewer that it's already over. I mean, it's really bad. It's bad.
No, it is. And I think everyone kind of looking at this Saints roster, you have my boy Dan Orlovsky on ESPN saying this is a Super Bowl team. And I think you're looking at this team now, that just seems super, super far-fetched. But on paper, you had to feel good about it. The upgrade you made at receiver, the secondary that you're going to bring to this team. But when you kind of have the injury bug sweeping this roster the way they have, and then the quarterback play being the level that it has been this season, it's just hard to think of a bright spot for this Saints team and to think that, they're going to do the things that people thought they can do in the preseason. I think the only thing that gives you a small slither of hope is just looking at the NFC South and just how bad this division has been this season. And so you're still not technically mathematically eliminated, but you got a lot of question marks. You got a lot of problems you got to fix, and you got to fix them fast. And I think, rolling forward with Dalton, it's just got to be something you're going to have to go through those growing pains with. He's not, one of these quarterbacks that you're talking about in the tier 1, even I would venture to say it's tough to make an argument he's even in tier 2 right now.
He's not even close to tier 2.
Yeah, so.
What is tier 2? Like Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, you're talking Lamar Jackson.
I mean, no, it's not even close. And that's the point. Like, it's not even about this year because Andy Dalton, they might win 8 games this year with Andy Dalton. Like, okay, and that might be good enough to have a chance to make the playoffs with 2 weeks left in this division. Who knows what happens tonight? But the fact of the matter is that if you're talking about this franchise and this organization, Cam Jordan's 33 years old. How much great football does he have left? DeMario Davis is 33 years old. How much great football does he have left? Taysom Hill's 32. Tyrann Mathieu is 30 and looks like he's not quite the same player that he was. Who knows what the deal is with Michael Thomas? He's 29 and hadn't played in 3 years. So at this point, what can you expect from him? Jarvis is 29 and hurt. Marcus May is 29. Like, you have a bunch of guys who are about to be on the other side of 30 that are big pieces to this team, and now you don't have a quarterback for them. So at this point, if you don't have a quarterback, Cam Jordan's career in New Orleans is over. Tyrann Mathieu's career in New Orleans is, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic there, but it's not that far-fetched. If you don't have a quarterback and don't feel like you're going to have a functional starting quarterback for 2 more seasons because you've got Jameis under contract for next year, you don't have a first-round pick, how are you going to trade for one? You don't have any assets. I don't know how you get one in the next 2 years, and if you can't, Cam Jordan's 35, 36 years old. That's lights out. This Mike Thomas at 32, what is he good for? It's a big deal. And this is not to insinuate that Jameis Winston was going to save the season. But when you announce that he's sitting on the bench because you think Andy Dalton at 34 years old, playing the way he is the answer for this franchise, that's a white flag.
Yeah, you're going to run into the same problem you had last offseason, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, should they have just emptied everything they had and just paid everything to Deshaun Watson, gave him all those picks that they traded for the receiver and the lineman with, and kind of just, bit those bullets and kind of roll forward that way? Because, like you said earlier, you've seen teams kind of, once they have that franchise quarterback, they don't find another one overnight. Some teams have gotten lucky. The Colts got lucky with Andrew Luck and some of those other teams. But now look at the Colts.
And Packers are the outliers here. Sorry.
Yeah, but even look at the Colts now. What are they doing? They got Sam Elliott at quarterback right now. So it's very, very hard to find these guys. They don't fall off trees. And so for the Saints, they're in that position right now. And you kind of look at a roster where you see that window that was so small, and you got some of these veteran players who are talented, but that window's closing. And then when you don't have the quarterback, it just makes that window seem farther and farther away for you to try to get accomplished what you want to get accomplished. And so anytime you got a new head coach, a lot of DA, not seeing much DA praise right now, and obviously not Sean Payton not calling the plays right now, it's just hard to see that the Saints are going to turn this thing around, especially what you're going to see at the quarterback position and all the injuries they have.
And we did this exercise back in August at one point. I don't remember the day, and I don't know the number exactly, but you'll get the point when I bring it up. We went through every projected starting quarterback, and we included Deshaun Watson in that instead of Jacoby Brissett. And I said, okay, where did these guys come from initially? And like 23 of the 32 were first-round picks.
Yeah.
It's not to suggest that you have to, but far more often than not, it's coming out of the first round. And sometimes you find Dak Prescott, and sometimes, if you want to hitch your wagon to Davis Mills, but you got to get a first round pick, and the Saints are so far away from that. They're 2 years away from that.
Yeah, they're going to be
not good.
They're going to be in the same position they were last year, because now you're going to have questions that you have to ask as a front office. Do we move on from James? I'm sure he's not having much guaranteed money. Obviously, Dalton's on a 1-year deal. You got to go after Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett. Like, these are the names that you're going to be able to go after as a quarterback. All the great ones are going to be taken. Russell just signed up. Deshaun signed up. All the
will sign.
Yeah, like all the really guys that you think could really, change the, trajectory of your franchise. Those guys are signed up. So it's going to be tough, man. Do you just tank the next year? Do you tank 2 years in a row? It seems like the Saints have never done that. That's just not what Mickey
this has
Loomis.
been an aggressive organization. They always trade up to go get players, and they always mortgage draft picks, and they always sign guys and then kick that down the curb and try to manipulate the cap. And they've been aggressive, and that was absolutely 100% the way to operate when you've got Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Just figure it out around those two guys, and you're going to be pretty good or elite in a lot of years. They were elite a lot of years. Now that is a long look in the rearview mirror.
No, it definitely is, and it just kind of – that's kind of the backside of kicking the can down the road. You kind of see, the downside of that. Now you don't have any draft capital. You don't have a quarterback. The injury bug isn't going anywhere. You got a new head coach, and it's like, what do we do now? And you're kind of seeing that on full display for the Saints, especially when things don't go your way in a football season. You don't really have options. Your hands are going to be tied this offseason, which hasn't really been the case for them in a long time, where you don't have the draft capital. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do at quarterback, and really, for a Saints fan, it's really hard to kind of, make that bright rainbow picture for this team going forward.
Sure is. Maybe Luke Johnson can help us do it here in about 20 minutes, but we'll take a pause from the Black and Gold talk. Talk some Fighting Tiger basketball. First-year head coach Matt McMahon joins us next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Reliable Roofing and Construction, ReliableRoofingBR.com.
Yeah, so I have to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
Lionel Hayes, born and raised in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to be specific, and he's here to serve his community, not one of these roofing companies that's going to come in, try to take advantage of a storm, and then bail. He's going to be here. In fact, he's going to visit the site when they work on your home. They're going to give you a great selection of shingles. They're going to give you unbelievable quality in their work, and they stand by it. That's why they give you a 5-year labor warranty on every job that they do. You can check out their work on Instagram at Reliable Roofing LLC. They do a great job there. At ReliableRoofingBR.com is the website. And look, if you get your roof handled here in the next 3 days, so give them a call today. $1,000 off that roof replacement for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Reliable Roofing and Construction. Check out the website, ReliableRoofingBR.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done
With passion for our fans.
and love for our community.
We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
Do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25%.
College football doubleheader this Saturday. First, the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs face the Florida Gators in their annual rivalry at 2:30 p.m.
Then the Texas A&M Aggies host the Ole Miss Rebels at 6:30 p.m.
It's all right here on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LSUsports.net's got this countdown down to the second. 13 days, 5 hours, 43 minutes, and 45 seconds from right now. The Matt McMahon era will begin inside the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. It'll be LSU hosting Kansas City on Wednesday, November the 9th. First-year head coach of the Tigers, Matt McMahon, joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Coach, how are you? Thanks for your time.
Hunt, thanks so much for having me on. Great to be with you.
It is certainly our pleasure. Are you getting enough sleep right now? I get the sense that basketball coaches don't sleep a lot from November to March.
They're definitely the sense of urgency is ramped up here. As you mentioned, 13 days out from the opener. But really enjoying our team. It's been a lot of fun. As you know, we're starting at ground zero and rebuilding the program. And that process, while challenging, is a lot of fun because we have a lot of high-character people in our program who've worked extremely hard. So I know the players are getting anxious and ready to roll there on the 9th.
I want to start with KJ Williams, Juice Hill, and Trey Hannibal, 3 guys that you had at Murray State last year. I wonder if those guys have a chip on their shoulder to prove themselves in the Southeastern Conference, even though as a basketball observer, you look at Murray State, the amount of games that y'all won, where you advance in the NCAA tournament, it's not as if they haven't proven themselves as college basketball players, but there is a chip to moving into this conference.
I think there has to be. They've had success in some of these high-level games over the years. KJ's a guy who's won games in the NCAA tournament, multiple seasons. But now you got to do it every Wednesday and Saturday for 9 straight weeks against some of the best teams in the country. And, all 3 of those guys are experienced. They're 22 and 23 years old. They've played on the biggest stage. And now they get to do that consistently over the course of the season. So I know all 3 are really excited about the opportunity to be here at LSU. And now they have the opportunity to play against some of the best players in the country.
Coach, in this day and age, we know how viable the transfer portal was, but how important it was to get guys like Adam Miller and Mwali Wilkinson back on this team, and what do you think their roles will be this season?
No, I think huge. I think huge for us. Obviously when we got the job, the entire team was in the portal, and that's fine. That's college basketball in 2022. A lot of those guys had already chosen to move on. But I'm really excited about Adam Miller and Mwani, and then Justice Williams. Those 3, they've been bought in from day one. Have worked extremely hard. They obviously love LSU, and that's part of the reason they stayed. And I think that's important, that you have guys that take a lot of pride in those 3 letters on the front of their jersey. So It's been a joy to coach all three, and I expect big things from all three this season.
The timing of Adams' injury last year is just so brutal right before the season was set to begin. You seen any rust with him? Is he in the swing of things? And kind of what type of player are Tiger fans looking at with Adam Miller this year?
Yeah, he's progressed really quickly. I mean, a devastating injury a year ago. An elite talent, can really shoot the ball at a high level. Things I really like about his game, he's very smart, high IQ, and he's a competitor. And so that toughness is going to be needed on our team. I do think we also, whether it's coaches, Adam himself, fans, we have to keep in perspective. He hasn't played a college basketball game in 18 months. And so this is a process. He got cleared late August, and I think has quickly worked his way back. And, I just keep reminding him it's not going to happen overnight. But he's an elite player, really excited to have the opportunity to coach him.
You do have a lot of older players on this team. The three guys from Murray State are seniors and fifth-year seniors. Cam Hayes is a junior who played in the ACC. You look at Kendall Coleman, who played a couple years as well. So you've got some guys that have played college basketball. Does that mean you can ease these freshmen in, especially the really talented ones? Or are you going to count on those guys from the jump?
Well, I'm one who, whether freshman, senior, I don't care. The players who earn the time are going to get the time. And so I think we have some of the young talent that'll be ready to help us right away on day one. And, I'm equal opportunity when it comes to that. You can come in and earn as many minutes as you want. I do think it helps having some experienced players to balance that out. And that was one of the challenges of going from 0 players to a full roster. Not only do you have to get some talented guys who can play at this level, but you have to balance out those classes and your position needs. And through the portal, we were able to do so.
How would you characterize your scheduling philosophy now that you're moving into the Southeastern Conference?
Well, you saw the open to the SEC schedule this year. That's terrific. But no, I think in the non-conference, you want to elevate your program to where you're playing in a big-time MTE tournament each year. I think it's not this season, but the following year will be in the ESPN Charleston Classic. You want to get an opportunity to play against other Power 5 programs. Certainly want to get the program to a place where we're able to attract high-level non-conference games, especially here at home. And then I think this year, just with what we inherited from a scheduling standpoint, you're just trying to get as many home games early in the year as you can to hopefully build some confidence. I mean, sure, we have to get our offensive and defensive systems and all that installed, and that's important. But the most important thing is we got to build a team, and that's what we're spending a lot of time on right now. And so, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to take care of business early in the season at home and develop some confidence and build the chemistry of our team.
We know how important knocking down the outside shot is, especially in the SEC. How confident are you in this team that they're going to be able to knock down some three-point shots this season?
Well, you see the evolution of the game, whether it's college or NBA, that three-point line is so important, both ends of the court. That was one thing we prided ourselves on at Murray State. I think 4 of the last 5 years we were top 10 in the country in three-point defense. And I think the flip of that is you got to be able to shoot it at a high clip from behind the three-point line to keep the floor spaced. When you start talking about a guy like Adam Miller, an elite shooter in college basketball, and Wani Wilkinson, a proven catch-and-shoot three-point guy, over 40% a year ago. Juice Hill has shot it well, had games where he made 8, made 5 at Memphis. And I can go on down the line. I think the other, key there is, when you can have a front court guy who can step out and shoot the three, and KJ Williams has done that in the past, and we need him to be able to do that this season to keep the floor spaced.
Chatting with LSU head basketball coach Matt McMahon. Coach, we chatted before on one of the football games a couple of weeks ago. I get to do that with a different coach every week there on our pregame show, and I'm always fascinated to hear them talk about meeting with other coaches, watching other coaches practice on campus. Y'all have got such a great collection of coaches here on campus. I'm wondering if you've seen Coach Mulkey in action while you've been over there. Obviously, she's got a lot of skins on the wall and is awesome to talk to.
Yeah, as we talked a couple of weeks ago, one of the many appeals of coming to LSU is you're surrounded by the best coaches in the country. And, so the opportunity to watch Coach Mulkey, how she structures a practice, her teaching, how she is demanding, obviously has won 3 national championships and is building a powerhouse here. It's been great for me. I think you're always, sometimes it's studying from afar, but just, watching how Coach Kelly handled, the loss to open the season and how he's just building his program through recruiting and his team's getting better every single day, every single week. You're always just trying to learn something every day. And I'm lucky to be here at LSU where you have the best coaches in the world to try and steal some wisdom from.
Last one here, Coach. Your time so much appreciated. We've seen some reports that there's talks of expanding the NCAA tournament to 80-plus, perhaps even 90-plus teams. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I was in the minority at the SEC meetings, or at least I was told I was. I just think the tournament is it's the greatest sporting event in the world. Those 3 weeks in March, I just think it's great the way it is, and I don't see any need for any changes. Now, I know money and TV revenue could speak to otherwise there, but for me, it's the greatest event in all of sports. I don't think it needs any changing.
Amen to that from this desk right here. Coach, we really appreciate some time. 13 days and 5 hours until they tip it off against Kansas City inside the PMAC. I will be there. Can't wait, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Go Tigers.
That is Matt McMahon, head coach of the Fighting Tigers. Jeremy, you mentioned he said, yeah, you see that start to conference play. Awesome. That is a home game against Arkansas, who will be preseason top 10, and then a trip to Rupp, who will be preseason top 5. So you're playing Casey's shaking his head. And by the way, after that, you get a trip to College Station, who was the first team left out of the tournament, then Florida, then at Alabama, Auburn coming in there, top 25 team. It's just – it's as brutal, as terrible as this conference may have seemed 10 years ago. It ain't anymore, and LSU will get the full dose of that right around the turn of the year. But I'm excited to watch Coach McMahon's team get out there and play. As I mentioned, tip off 2 Wednesdays from yesterday, 2 weeks from yesterday, against Kansas City inside the PMAC. We'll take a timeout. Luke Johnson on the Saints. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
Start NFL week off with the no-sweat same-game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance for an even bigger payday.
I'm looking at the old FanDuel Sportsbook right now. The Buccaneers are 1.5-point favorites. They got a great odds boost here. Lamar Jackson to have 40-plus rushing yards and the Ravens to cover plus 3.5. That is boosted to plus 150. We like that one. You can build your own same-game parlay or choose one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sports app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Just sign up with the promo code 1045ESPN if you don't already have an account. If you already have FanDuel, you're all set. Sign in and see what you've got. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. 3+ legs. Minimum $1 bet required. Refund issues non-withdrawable free bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $5. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at Revelry.
Jimmy Ott and Charles Henegriff for the Thursday evening edition of Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're downtown at Jolly Pearl Oyster Bar on north facing Town Square. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill on a Thursday here. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Want to congratulate Blake Coffey of Baton Rouge. He's our Week 8 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. Wins $50 to Twin Peaks. Don't forget, make your picks for Week 9 by 5 o'clock today. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em at 1045ESPN.com. Head back out to the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Luke Johnson covers the black and gold for the Advocate, joins us now. Luke, how are you?
I'm doing great, Hunt. How are you, man?
I'm good. Charlie Handegriff, not as good, but I tend to agree with him. He said that yesterday the New Orleans Saints gave up on Jameis Winston. I framed it as the Saints are now very squarely in quarterback purgatory and have a long way to go to get out of it. What did you make, personally, as a guy who's watched a lot of practice, watched every game multiple times, your reaction to the decision to start Andy Dalton when we're led to believe that Jameis could give it a go?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I'm surprised by it. I thought there was definitely a chance that they were going to go in this direction, just considering every time Dennis Allen has been asked, basically like, hey, when Jameis is good to go, are you going to be going back to Jameis or something along those lines? He never gave a straight answer on it. He always left an opening for this to end up happening. I think he's not wrong in saying that the offense has fared better with Andy in the lineup than it has with Jameis. But, obviously there's some extenuating circumstances with Jameis. Playing through the injury and everything like that. I don't know if we've necessarily seen exactly what he can do in this offense when fully healthy with a full complement of weapons. But the fact of the matter remains that they're 2-5, their season's on the brink, And I don't necessarily fault the head coach for saying like, okay, we've got this quarterback who's been playing pretty well. We don't want to throw a new element back into it and like see how long it takes for him to gel with that offense again. I don't really fault him, but I think all this ultimately is the Saints saying like, okay, we have seen enough of Jameis Winston to know that he's not going to be in our plans in the future. I think that's undeniable now. It's very, very hard for me to imagine a scenario where Jameis Winston comes back to this team as a starting quarterback. They've just kind of hitched their wagon to Andy Dalton, and if he falters, they left the door open for Jameis to come back in. But I just think that long term, this is pretty much signals the start of the end of that relationship.
So what does that mean for the franchise?
Well, that means they're going to be in a funny spot next year, because obviously they don't own their current first round pick, and right now it's like a top 10 pick. We just don't know where it's going to end up. There's a lot of different ways that can go, but if they don't get like a first round pick back for Sean Payton, which I don't think that's a given, they're going to be in a tough spot where you can't exactly depend on drafting a quarterback high in the second round or even midway through the first round. I expect that guy to be your franchise quarterback. I don't know where they go from here. This is a really, really tough spot for them.
Do you think there's a point where the Saints kind of stop pushing the metal? You've kind of seen this organization kind of go for it, and really try to win a Super Bowl. Do you think at some point this season they kind of prepare for the future, and do you think that's something that can carry over into next season as well?
I don't think it's happening this season. Just because there's no incentive for them to let's just say like trade some of their best players for draft capital, right? Because they're not going to get a first round pick for anybody, and they don't. It's not like them finishing at the bottom of the NFL is going to help them at all because they don't have a first round pick. I still think this year they're doing everything they can to compete. And look, I think they should, because they've had a lot of guys miss time. They're still in this thing. They're only a game back. I don't know if I can go ahead and say that I don't expect this team to win the Super Bowl, right? But they can still win in the division and go to the playoffs, which makes that trading away that first round pick a little bit easier to stomach. But I think it's fair to wonder where they go in the future. And I think it's fair to wonder whether they're going to keep employing that very aggressive strategy with the salary cap, with player acquisition, pushing stuff into future years, because that works when you've got a contending team, and it doesn't work when you've got a team that's stuck in the middle or below the middle. At that point, you need to start swallowing a tough pill and making tough decisions, and smart, sound financial decisions that aren't so aggressive.
Luke Johnson, our guest each and every Thursday here on Hunt and Hill, talking black and gold. Lost kind of in that announcement. It was a pretty spirited Alvin Kamara yesterday in the locker room. I tend to see him when he does interviews with y'all being pretty personable and kind of maybe fun to talk to. I don't know that I've seen the emotion and the kind of verbiage that we saw from him yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think, and look, I totally agree with you. I think Alvin is as good a spokesman for this team as anybody out there. And I think he can really give you kind of a sense of what they're feeling. But it's pretty clear just listening to him and watching him that he is really a person who does not like losing, right? He is definitely a quote unquote winner, whether that is like legit or not. I mean, Alvin is not like the kind of person who's cool with losing, and he's never experienced that at the NFL level. So, I think it's important for guys like him who, he has a lot of cachet outside the locker room, but I think even more in it. He's the guy who's done everything, and he's a really, really good player. His words count; they matter. And I think anybody who watches him talk knows how genuine he is. So, I think it's important that he's vocal. He's not like a quote unquote vocal guy, but in situations like this, it kind of calls for it. That being said, I don't know how much words are going to matter if they keep turning the ball over 3 times a game. That's what ultimately this whole thing comes down to, right? Is the performance on the field and the sort of mistakes that have gotten them behind in pretty much every game. It's you can have all the swagger you want to have, and if you're throwing picks and fumbling the ball away, it's not going to matter.
You saw Michael Thomas kind of come to practice stressed out, but listed on the injury report as did not participate. What do you think the chances of him that he actually may play in this game?
This game, I'm going to say pretty low. But the fact that we even saw him out there yesterday, and it was, for your listeners who don't know, basically the team does a walkthrough practice. Then they open it up to us for like 20 minutes where they do individual drills, they do stretches, and then after we leave, they do all their team stuff. So he did the walkthrough yesterday. We didn't actually see him do the walkthrough, but he was in uniform. He was wearing his helmet and shoulder pads, all that stuff. And then as soon as they started the stretches and individuals, he left. So I think that to me is a sign that he's at least getting closer to coming back, because it's the first time we've actually seen him in uniform in a long time. But I still think this week is probably a little bit too early for that.
Lost in the interceptions a little bit was the fact that the offense actually moved the ball against the Cardinals and scored some points. Reason to believe they could do the same thing against a mediocre Vegas team on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I think ever since Andy's been in the lineup, their offense has moved the ball, right? In those last 4 games, on a per-game basis, they're number 3 in the NFL in total yards, right behind the Chiefs and the Bills, 2 pretty good offenses, and I think they're number 3 in scoring offense. So the problem definitely hasn't been moving the ball. I think their run game has been a lot better. I think their protection has been better. I think Andy Dalton is navigating the pressure a lot better than Jameis was when he was hurt. So all that stuff is good. The problem has been the turnovers are still there, and the defense that we all kind of expected this team would hang its hat on has just been MIA. So you can score 30 points a game and rack up 430 yards of offense a game, and it's the same thing with the swagger thing with Alvin, right? It's not going to matter if you're throwing 2 pick sixes, or if your defense has given up a bunch of explosive plays and it can't stop the run and it can't stack the quarterback and it can't force turnovers of its own. I mean, it's all of that stuff adds up to losing football. I do think the offense is in a good spot right now, and I don't think all of those. The mistakes last week were on Andy Dalton. I don't think his receivers helped him out a ton. Even Chris Olave, who had a great game, and I think he's a great player, right? He had 2 balls that were in his hands, catchable balls, big plays downfield, and both of them got jarred out of his hands. Like they got to make these plays. They can't have the plays where they're having these mistakes that cost them points. And until they get that stuff cleaned up, I mean, none of this stuff is really going to matter. That stuff is first and foremost in my mind. Got to get that fixed.
We've seen Dennis Allen not really put those safeties and extra help to a lot of these number 1 receivers that the Saints secondary is going against. What's your level of confidence that can really stop Devontae Adams this Sunday, and especially if they kind of have 8 in the box to kind of stop Jacobs?
It's kind of low. Especially with no Marshawn Lattimore out there. He's such a huge part of what they do. They can, when he's out there, they can count on him to lock down receivers like Devontae Adams. And when he's not there, they kind of fall apart. And they've had opportunities against some really, really good receivers lately, Jamar Chase and DeAndre Hopkins, and they've kind of failed in those chances. So until they do it without Marshawn Lattimore on the field, I don't have the confidence in them to figure it out. They got to at some point they got to show that they're capable of this stuff.
Luke, enjoy the football on Sunday. We'll do it again next week. Thanks.
Yep, sounds good, guys. Talk to you soon.
He is Luke Johnson from The Advocate, by Luke Johnson for all your Saints stuff on the Twitter machine. When we come back, we will close out hour number 1, just kick off hour number 2. I got to find a way to get above 500 with SEC gambling picks because we dipped below last week, and that is unacceptable. So we'll do that top of hour 1. Stick with us. Thursday edition of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
All right, guys, if you're like me, you got Christmas coming up. You got a wife's birthday coming up. You got an anniversary coming up. There's a lot of gifts that got to be done, and if we wait too late, you're not going to have what you need. One Bath and Closets can help you out. Wouldn't she like a bathroom renovation? Wouldn't she like new closet space? One Bath and Closets can make that happen. David Duvall been at it for 3 decades. Bathrooms and closets. If you you've got ample closet space, but you don't know how to use it. There's stuff thrown everywhere, shoes all over the place, belts hanging from. He can fix that. He can help you optimize your current space, or they are licensed contractors. He can go in and create you a new closet space or a new bathroom. Right now, if you tell them that Hunt and Hill sent you to One Bath and Closets, 30% off your new closet. 30% off the renovation. Certainly not an insignificant amount of money. You don't have to move to get a new bathroom space, new closet space. They can come in your existing home and make that happen for you. It's One Bath and Closets. They promise you one thing for sure. They're not going to take some shortcuts to get onto the next job and then come back 3 weeks later and fix something because it's broken. Not going to happen. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. 30% off your closet renovation. Give it a thought for Christmas. One Bath and Closets is your stop. OneBathAndClosets.com.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
In the prep football season, and we get you started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic Eye in Scotlandville kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care, Total Occupational Medicine, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, so I'm out of here tomorrow. It's going to be you and Mario. And I didn't want to step on y'all's Friday show. Like, y'all do whatever you got to do on your show. I'm going to be playing golf and hanging out on the beach. So I wanted to get my picks on the record today. We usually do that on Friday. in the 2 o'clock hour. Are you going to do picks today, or are you going to wait, break down games with Mario tomorrow?
I think he's just got to hammer me with Lakers slander all tomorrow. So we can
an
get
hour
it
of Pels talk tomorrow.
Yeah. So we can get it done today. Get it done.
All right. Y'all can still talk about the games tomorrow. Maybe get Mario's picks on them. But I'm going to give my picks at the top of the second hour, and we'll get Jeremy's as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games we have got to pick at the top of hour 2. You know, we obviously love watching the Tigers and watching the Stars play here on campus and certainly enjoy that over time. But once they leave, you have no real control where they go and who they play for. Maybe they play against your favorite team. Maybe they play for your favorite team. Maybe you become fans of their team because they end up there, kind of like a lot of us have done with the Bengals and Joe Burrow. But it's great to see them have success. And nobody's going to pass Burrow anytime soon in terms of enjoyment of viewing from my eyes in a Baton Rouge in purple and gold. But Aaron Nola was close.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good as a freshman, became the third starter on Kevin Gaussman's staff, and then his sophomore year became totally unhittable, was the National Pitcher of the Year, and was every bit that good as a junior, and his team just got beat in the regional. Houston came back and got him twice. But he was almost automatic when he went out there. Teams I have not seen since. Teams literally reshuffle their pitching staff because they knew their ace had no chance against Aaron, so you might as well move him to Saturday. Like teams, A&M did it. I watched plenty of teams. They moved their pitching around because they knew they could not handle Aaron Nola. He was almost unhittable. And even when he got hit one time, which was in the regional marble game against Sam Houston, they ran up his pitch count into the 30s in inning 1, scored, I believe, 4 runs. Christian Ibarra made 2 errors. And you were like, this is the worst case scenario, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, Aaron went back out there for the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth. And all of a sudden, he got through 7 innings. They never scored again. LSU came back and won the game.
Yeah.
Even when he got down, he was unflappable. And so he goes to Philadelphia, and truth be told, they haven't been very good when he's been there. But he's been in the ERA race, been getting some Cy Young votes, been in an all-star competition. And now he gets to start game 1 of the World Series tomorrow. And I think that's really cool for a guy that's from Baton Rouge, who we follow because we knew who he was because of his brother, who was older, and now is getting a chance to go out there against Justin Verlander in game 1 of the World Series. That's really awesome.
No, it's an amazing spot for him. And I think especially kind of when you look at his young career with the Phillies and just all the things they've been through with that team and not really having that postseason success that you would think that roster could have, especially when you look at Bryce Harper in the middle of it. He's done phenomenal this season, and I think getting them to that opportunity, kind of having that performance against the Astros on October 3rd to get them even in the spot that they're in now. He's just been clutch, man. And you look at a guy who just has so much control of all of his off-speed pitches. He can pitch it to you 0-2 strike lead, and he's leading in the batting house. He's going to throw the off-speed stuff, and he just has so much control there. He looks so comfortable now. He's really, really coming to his own, and I think, he's going to really enjoy that matchup with Bragg. I'm sure he's going to want to strike him out a couple times, and I think my man JJ is going to be soaking this in. I'm sure this doesn't hurt recruiting for my man JJ.
Not in the least. And look, I said when those two guys were coming out, you knew they would be top 10 picks, and they were. And my thought on both of them in the separate years, obviously Aaron came out a year earlier, I said, I'm not sure what their ceiling is. I don't think Aaron's going to look like Steven Strasburg anytime soon, throwing 100 miles an hour and going. I don't think Bregman's going to hit 52 home runs, but their floor is incredibly high. There's no question they're getting to the big leagues, and there's no question they can help. And it turns out that Bregman's become a superstar, has been a playoff stalwart, has been an all-star, has been a home run hitter, has played great defense, has been now as Correa's moved on and as Springer's moved on, and he's kind of become close to the face of that team. And Aaron has become an all-star and a frontline guy. Wheeler's been sensational, so I want to call either one of them an ace, whatever. But they've become stars in the sport, and that's awesome. So we'll see them in this World Series, and Aaron will lead things off. You got a pick in the World Series for this one?
If anyone knows any ounce of my being, there's no way I can pick the Astros.
You could if you think they're going to win. You can pull against them and pick them.
I can't pick them to walk across the street. Like, I'm not picking them to do anything. Give me Phillies. Give me my boy Nola on the bump. Get this game 1 dub. Let's go Phillies. I cannot stand the Astros. They're just so annoying. Like, I'm not picking them to do anything. Give me the Phillies. Give me Bryce Harper. Give me that Cubby love. Give me Schwarber. Give me the crew. Give me the Phillies, man. Phillies all day.
Fantastic Funky Bunch says, Hunt, where did Nola go to high school? He may have gone to Dunham or U-High, maybe St. Michael, Redemptorist. I can't recall where Aaron went. It was not a big deal for those that are about to wreck their car. I know where he went to high school. I'm just playing along with the bit. For me, it's one of those classic deals. It's the hot team against the best team. We've seen this a lot, and the Astros have kind of proven themselves outside of the Dodgers really to be the best team, and they've flexed in these playoffs. They're certainly hot as well, but they've got the championship pedigree, and they're a team that has been atop their division all year long. The Phillies were not. They fired their manager, but they've just caught fire, and the Indians caught fire in 16. The Cubs were the best team, and the Cubs came back and beat them. Last year, the Braves were not the best team. In fact, they lost their best player. They were the hot team, and they got it done. I'm going to take the better team. I'm going to take the Houston Astros to win the World Series. I'm pulling for the Phillies, but I'm going to take the Astros to win the World Series. That is my pick. They will start things up tomorrow in the World Series. We will start things up to end my week. One more hour to go for me. We start off with some SEC gambling picks. Come back after SportsCenter. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. NFL Week 8 kicks off tonight in Tampa. The 3-4 Buccaneers hosting the 4-3 Ravens. Former Ravens running back Justin Forsett says the team's record could be even better.
Man, just not finishing, not executing in the crunch time, in the moments when it count. In the fourth quarter, you see they're playing well for 3 quarters, and then they just fall off and or take the foot off the gas pedal at the end of the game, and it's been costing them.
Justin Forsett on KJ and Max. Bucks defensive lineman Akeem Hicks is out again for tonight's game with a foot injury. He's been out since week 2. Patriots coach Bill Belichick confirms today Mac Jones is now fully recovered from a high ankle sprain and ready to start Sunday's game against the Jets. Jones started but played only 16 snaps in Monday night's loss to the Bears. College basketball, number 3 Texas will host DePaul for an exhibition game Sunday, with all ticket proceeds being used to help the city of Uvalde build a new school. Robb Elementary is now permanently closed after a mass shooting.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
If you start to focus in on self, you're going to destroy yourself because you become the butt of the joke. Russell Wilson is a meme right now.
It's Friday with KJ and Max. It all starts at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. 1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Tom Palmer, Jeremy Hill. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo and Hancock Whitney present this year's Boo at the Zoo. Boo at the Zoo is open now through Sunday. Halloween costumes encouraged for all guests, and every child 12 and under gets a mini pumpkin courtesy of Capital City Produce. Go get your tickets online. Enjoy a special line when you do that. All pre-purchase tickets right there at brzoo.org. Hour 2 here on a Thursday. If you missed Hour 1, want to catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Had LSU head basketball coach Matt McMahon on. Enjoyed our conversation with him, Luke Johnson, on all things Saints. A busy 24 hours in Saints land. They've got to get some things figured out on Sunday, or else it's just going to get worse. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm certain that Mario and Jeremy will talk about it a lot tomorrow as they get you on a Football Friday. But for now, we got to get some Southeastern Conference picks. Last week, I went 0-3. That dropped me below 500 for the first time all year. I am 26, 27-1. Jeremy was 1-2 last week. He is 24, 29-1. So let's take a look at the Southeastern Conference slate. Appears I'm going to be watching a lot of this because the forecast of the beach stinks, but that's all right. The football looks pretty decent. We'll start with the 11 o'clock game. I think this game is very interesting for a lot of reasons, and we'll get into all that. It's Arkansas going to the Plains at Auburn. Hogs laying 3.5. Look, say what you want about Auburn. They're not good. Their coach is going to get fired. Everybody knows it. They're playing hard. They're giving it all they got. Yeah, Georgia dusted them, but they were in it against Missouri. They were in it against LSU. They've played hard. They played hard against Ole Miss. Even though they couldn't stop the run, they ran the ball for a lot. Arkansas's pass defense is 12th in the SEC. They cannot stop anybody through the air. Can Robbie Ashford hurt them? I don't think so. Auburn's passing offense is 13th in the league. Auburn's run defense is dead last in the SEC, and Arkansas's rush offense is second. Statistically, you got to like the Hogs here. I think Auburn plays them really close, may even have a lead at halftime, but I think inevitably Arkansas's run game breaks through and they cover the 3.5 at Auburn. Give me the Hogs.
I think I'm going to go full Hunt Palmer this week. I'm going to go against all conventional wisdom, and I'm going to go against everything in my brain and everything that I think, and I'm going to take the Auburn Tigers, who just had a former player saying the head coach is a disgrace to the state of Alabama. So, yeah, let's go against conventional wisdom this week. I'm like, 4 games, 5 games under 500?
Yeah.
Conventional wisdom just got me in the dumpster.
War
right
Eagle,
now.
you're feeling it. Love that. Coach Harsin.
I'm not going to feel great about this.
Put your chips where they may be. All right, the
let's see what
cocktail
happens.
party. They don't call it the cocktail party anymore. That's a disgrace. They should. It's a great name. Got some good friends that went to Georgia, said this is one of the best weeks of the entire year. Head on down to the beach, then watch some football. It is Florida and Georgia. Georgia's a 22.5-point favorite. What do you got?
22.
That is significantly more than 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, give me Georgia. I'm sorry. Conventional wisdom can't save me from this Florida offense. I'd rather go with the dogs here. I just don't see how their offense is going to struggle against that secondary. And I think Kirby, especially after last year, that game was a little close early on, and then you kind of saw the turnovers kind of take that toll on that Florida offense. I think it's going to look a lot the same. I don't care about any cocktails. The Florida fans are as many cocktails as they want. It's got to get ugly for the Gators in Jacksonville. So, yeah, give me the dogs here.
Georgia has won 4 of 5 in this series. Before that, Florida had won 21 of 27. They absolutely owned Georgia, but Kirby has flipped that a little bit. Georgia's run defense, 4th in the country. That's obviously what Florida wants to do. They get Osiris Torrance back in this game. They want to run the ball. Maybe you get good Anthony Richardson. He showed up in Knoxville, and they played him right there. But I just don't think Florida's defense is going to be able to hold up against Stetson Bennett. And he's not going to turn the ball over, I don't think. So I'm right there with you. I'm going to take the Georgia Bulldogs in this one as well. We'll lay the huge number and see what we can do. Missouri is at South Carolina a little later in the afternoon. South Carolina, winners of 4 straight. They are laying 4 points. Your thoughts on that?
Give me my man Drink, man. I like the fist bump. He had that fist bump, the biceps pumping, getting the team fired up for beating the Doors. And I'm going against conventional wisdom this week. I'm not going to go against Kirby and the crew, but my boy Spencer Rattler. We need a couple interceptions. We saw that Missouri defense get a little feisty last week. So, yeah, give me Mr. Fist Pump himself, my man Eli Drinkwitz.
Look, Missouri's defense held Auburn to 17 points, held Georgia to 26, which is respectable, held Florida to 24. That's respectable. And then they held Vanderbilt to 14, which, whatever you want to say about that. But their defense has been solid. It's not like they're getting crushed on that side. South Carolina's offense, I beg your pardon, is not very good. They got a kickoff return for a touchdown last week against Texas A&M to help them score. Rattler's been inconsistent all year. I think South Carolina is getting some love here because they haven't lost in a month. I think Missouri's still playing hard for Eli Drinkwitz. Do I think they're going to win the game? No. Do I think they can cover 4? Yeah, I'll take Missouri and the points to cover there. Again, I'll hold my nose on that one because I know that Missouri is not very good. Kentucky headed to Tennessee. Tennessee's pass defense is awful. They are dead last in the SEC. Levis is coming off a bye, should be a little healthier. And Kentucky's pass defense has been decent. They're 3rd in the SEC. They slowed down Mississippi State. However, you've got a tsunami here in this Tennessee team. 12.5 is the number. It's in Knoxville. Tennessee's wearing bad uniforms. I can't believe I'm doing this. Give me the points in Kentucky. That's all I have to say. Maybe they can slow him down, and maybe Levis can get the ball down the field. I need Barry and Brown to do something huge. Maybe a 65-yard, 75-yard touchdown. Keep this thing low scoring just a little bit. 12.5, not too much to ask. 12.5.
Well,
Kentucky.
Good thing you didn't let me go first because I would have took the Wildcats too. But since you do that, I got to cover ground here. So give me Hendon Hooker. Give me one of the best quarterbacks in all of football, 35+ in every single game.
Yep.
I don't know if Kentucky offense can get to that number, even against that bad secondary. A little worried about
worst in the league.
A little worried about Rodriguez getting going and running some of that
playing
clock.
A little better.
Yeah. But yeah, give me Hooker in the crew. I got to cover some ground here.
Cats, C-A-T-S, cats. And then the big one in College Station.
Oh, yeah.
A&M hosting Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss.
Oh, man.
Rebs, 2-point favorites in College Station.
Wait, that's it?
What
like,
you got?
Is this a
Vegas
Vegas
sucker
trick?
line.
Is this
Jeremy,
a Vegas trick on me?
Jeremy thinks he can trick Vegas people. Watch this.
This seems like a trick here. I'm gonna take give me Lane in the crew. There's no way I'm betting anything. They got quarterback issues. Who's gonna punt the ball this week? Missing offensive linemen. Like Jimbo probably calling the wing T by this point. Like, what's going on in College Station? My boy Lucci cutting the phone off.
Did you see Ole Miss's defensive strategy against LSU?
They're not going to do that this week.
They've done it all year. Auburn ran for 400 on them. They didn't care. They came right to Baton Rouge and did the same thing.
Nah, give me Ole Miss. Can't see
That's
it.
the
Can't
point.
see it.
Like, if Ole Miss sits there in a 3-down lineman, 2 linebacker set with 6 DBs, 6 yards off the ball, A-Chain's going to run for 300.
Give me the Rebs.
Okay, I tried to sell it for you.
Can't see
Interesting piece to this puzzle. DJ Durkin, Ole Miss's defensive coordinator last year, did a really good job for them. Obviously, Lane kind of wishes he was back there. They asked Lane about it yesterday. Said, "What do you think about DJ Durkin? You know, did you try to keep him when he went to A&M?" Lane said, "Yeah, we tried to keep him, but we got outbid." Seems like a common theme with that program over there. So, yeah, that's the case. DJ Durkin left Ole Miss. Now he's at A&M, and he's calling their defense. He went against Lane Kiffin for an entire year in practice, watched him call games, sat in film review with him. They know each other pretty well. These teams are going to try to run the football, run the football, run the football. A&M's run defense has been awful. Ole Miss's run defense has been awful. So it seems like it might get back and forth, but I'm taking Ole Miss. A&M's down 3 offensive linemen. They have their backs against the wall in every sense. Their players are smoking weed in the locker room. That's not being denied by anyone. No one has gone on Twitter or it's reported, yeah, that's not true. I think it's true, which is absolutely stunning to me that we got guys smoking weed in the locker room. But I just think that Ole Miss is playing hard and in a good spot, and I think that A&M is crumbling, and it feels like if Ole Miss comes – now, I said this when LSU went to Auburn. I'm well aware, and it didn't happen. If you go into College Station and Ole Miss gets up 14-0, or they trot Haynes King out there and he throws a pick 6, or it just doesn't go well early, that's a cranky fan base today.
Mm-hmm.
They are a cranky bunch in College Station. You give them reason to leave or boo or get silent or just get irritated, it's not going to be pretty, and the Rebs could take advantage of that, and then all of a sudden Lane could dial one up. That doesn't sound good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ole Miss in that one. So your picks, Arkansas is at Auburn, laying 3.5. I've got Arkansas. Jeremy has Auburn, Florida, and Georgia. That's a 22.5-point number. Jeremy's got Georgia. I've got Georgia. Missouri is at South Carolina. Gamecocks a 4-point favorite. We are both on Missouri. Kentucky is at Tennessee. 12.5-point number there. I'm on Kentucky. Jeremy's got the Vols. And Ole Miss is at A&M. A&M's catching 2 at home. We are both on the road favorite, Ole Miss Rebels, in that one. Those are your gambling picks for the Southeastern Conference this week. Come back with us. Hour 2 here on a Thursday. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 1045 ESPN.
No sweat on that first bet up to $1,000. They got your favorite bets from money line to point spreads to player props. Tonight's game, Baltimore is at Tampa Bay. You think Baltimore, who's catching 1.5, may win? On the money line, it's coming back plus 114. You can do a same-game parlay as well, all on the same game and an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issues non-withdrawable free bet. Expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. You or somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the New York Jets and the New England Patriots at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bowl projections are out. Got 3 of them here. I want to go through and gauge your excitement here, Jeremy. Here's how it's going to work. The SEC gets what it gets in the college football playoff. Might get 1 team, might get 2. After that, the best team in the SEC, the highest ranked in the CFP, that does not go to the playoff is going to go to the Sugar Bowl to play a Big 12 team. After that, the Citrus Bowl gets its pick, whoever they want. So you got playoff teams. Highest ranked by the CFP committee goes to Sugar. Citrus Bowl gets to pick. After that, the SEC is going to assign teams to their respective bowls. They will very likely talk to the bowls and the teams and do their best to kind of put teams where they need to be. But it's the Liberty Bowl, the Texas Bowl, the ReliaQuest Bowl, the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, the Gator Bowl, and the Music City Bowl. That ReliaQuest Bowl, I believe, is the old Gator Bowl there. So it's Liberty Bowl, Gator Bowl, Texas Bowl, Vegas. Oh, that's Gator Bowl right there. So it's the old Capital One Bowl. No, that's the Citrus Bowl. What am I thinking? Outback. There it is. ReliaQuest Bowl is going to be your Outback Bowl. So that's where LSU sits right now. You've got Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama, who are distinctly ahead of LSU right now. And then you're in a group with your Ole Misses, your Kentuckys. That's kind of where you sit right now, depending on how things shake out. So this is what we're looking at right now. First of all, USA Today. You look through their bowl projections to this point, and they say LSU is headed to the Gator Bowl to play North Carolina State. You look at this from Saturday Night South, which is ESPN's. they've got LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl versus Illinois or the Citrus Bowl against Illinois. So right there at the top. I didn't realize Illinois was playing as well as they are. Checks out. They beat the brakes off Wisconsin. Bielema's got them running the football, so they look pretty good. And then CBS has LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl as well against North Carolina. So you're basically looking at Outback Bowl, Citrus Bowl, Gator Bowl, one of those Florida Bowls right around New Year's against a top half of the Big Ten or ACC.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, you probably didn't project that for this team with all the turnover you had. You probably thought, one of the lesser bowls, and some people thought maybe this whole year you kind of throw in the trash can. You may not even make a bowl. So to see the team kind of, being projected that way to possibly be ranked at the end of the season, playing another ranked opponent in a bowl game, especially coming off a Texas Bowl with 39 players, I think that's a great start for this football program. And really, that's kind of looking at what you banking in that this team's going to lose a third game and banking in they're going to lose a fourth game. So I think, for right now with this program, with everything we've seen so far, I'm definitely not upset with those projections.
And so you look at it, if you can handle your business against Texas A&M and Arkansas and, of course, UAB, you're very likely looking at one of the two Florida Bowls. That's kind of what they're projecting you to. You're looking at the ReliaQuest, which is the Outback, or the Gator Bowl. Those are very likely because one of Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia is going to get left out and going to go to the Sugar Bowl and then the Citrus Bowl. Unless the SEC gets two teams in, which is possible. You just got to kind of look at it. If you can handle your business against Alabama, might get to the SEC championship game, then all of a sudden the Citrus Bowl looks really good. Or if they get two teams in and you lose the SEC championship game, you could be going to the Sugar Bowl because I think they would take you over Alabama. You'd probably be a little bit more fired up to see your team in the Sugar Bowl than Alabama would be, quite frankly. So, look, there's a long way to go. They're projections. Nobody's sitting here telling you this is going to happen or that's going to happen. But I would personally rather play in one of the Florida Bowls, which they're all on January 2nd, by the way. The first is a Sunday, and the NFL owns Sunday. So all these games are on the 2nd, so you don't even have to deal with like a New Year's hangover if you get those. You might get one, the next day because you don't have to work on Monday. But that's your prerogative at that point. So I would prefer that over the Texas Bowl or Music City. Matt is all gung-ho about the Vegas Bowl. He wants to go do a remote from the Vegas Bowl out there against the Pac-12 team.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be here doing the pre- and post-game show anyway, so that doesn't matter as much to me. But I would rather play a Big 10 team in one of the Florida Bowls than I would go to the Texas Bowl, quite frankly.
Yeah, Texas. I don't want to see Texas Bowl anywhere near this program again. Just not moving.
Liberty Bowl's not doing anything for me, although my buddies are up there. But
yeah, no, I'm good with Vegas. I'm good with a Florida game. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind a Sugar Bowl after kind of what you saw.
Well, I would love a Sugar Bowl, but that means you got to go beat Bama and hope they get two teams in the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little far fetched right now, but we'll see how things play out. But yeah, I think right now looking at these bowls set up for this team. It's a great spot for you to be, especially in a first-year head coach and all the turnover you've seen. So, yeah, I think Tiger fans have a lot of good things to look forward to, especially if things kind of go the right way for you.
And this is not new to the Sugar Bowl. They've dealt with this for a long time, but they're getting a cranky football team very likely. They're either getting a two-loss Alabama team that's not in the playoff. That's just unheard of almost. They're getting a Tennessee team that got beat by Georgia and was not selected for the college football playoff. They're getting a Georgia team that lost to Tennessee and has one loss and did not get into the college football playoff. That's what the Sugar Bowl is going to get. Now, maybe those teams show up to prove a point, but sometimes they show up and they're not all that engaged. So you don't know what you're going to get. The Sugar Bowl would probably actually rather have an LSU, a 9-3 LSU that's kind of fired up with the trajectory of where things are going off a close loss to Bama and beating Arkansas and A&M, but they don't get that pick. They just get the scorned college football lover is going to show up in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, that's something when you are Alabama and you are Georgia and you are some of these things. I don't see a 3-loss for them at all or 2-loss for them at all.
No, but if they lose to Tennessee and Tennessee goes to the SEC championship game, and then at that point they're at the mercy of the committee, and this is going to be a fascinating SEC committee year because there are usually two teams, which has in the past been Georgia and Alabama or Georgia and LSU. Sometimes Florida gets tossed in there, but not right now. Now there's a third. Mm-hmm. And when you toss a third in there, like it's been done with a little bit of Georgia, Auburn, Alabama that one year with the kick six and stuff, like it gets a little dicey when you start talking about a one-loss TCU over there or, one loss USC maybe. It's just everyone's going to sit there and go, yeah, I think these 3 SEC teams are better than those other ones outside of Ohio State, but the committee's not going to put them in. They're going to put the conference champs in there.
Clemson, yeah.
Clemson's going to skate.
Clemson's going to walk in there. Yeah, I could see a crazy world where there's 3 one-loss SEC teams who've always been ranked in the top 5 all season long, especially if Georgia can kind of beat Tennessee, have them with 1 loss. Alabama runs the table, beats Georgia in the SEC championship, what we just saw. And then now you got to deal with 3 one-loss SEC teams. And
I think at that point, there's not a single handicapper or analyst alive that would take Clemson over those 3 teams.
No,
and they would have to. There's not a single handicapper analyst alive that would take TCU over those 3 teams. And you're going to have to, because everybody's got to get a chance and everybody's got to get a participation trophy. You got to let everybody in. It's just got to play nice.
I can get behind Clemson, I guess, because we've seen them beat Bama. We've seen them kind of play that. Is it those teams? No. But TCU...
Just watched it last year. Your boys from Cincinnati rolled right on in there.
They were undefeated. I guess if they go undefeated, you have to.
You do?
You have to, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I thought it was the best 4 teams. I thought you didn't have to win your conference title. We just saw Georgia get in there. We just saw Alabama get in there. Like, you don't have to win your conference title to get in the playoffs. So it's technically the 4 best teams right now as the current setup. So I don't know. I would love to see. I think it'd be, make the entire country literally hate the SEC. But I mean, how do you fight against
I'm so in for that. Give me Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, and Ohio State, and tell everybody else to take their ball and go home.
Yeah.
Like, I'd actually, if you're just talking preference for me, I just want Alabama out, and I don't care about the other 2 teams. But if we're trying to irritate everyone, why don't we just throw all the dice on the table?
Oh, yeah. Look, the Big Ten would not be too happy, especially if Ohio State somehow finds a way to lose that when they've been the #1 team just about all the season. And one of these SEC teams win, and then now you got the CBS contract, and then everything's down the road. I think it'd be interesting talking points going forward, but I just don't know the likelihood of the committee doing that. I just don't see them pulling that off.
Long way to go. Tigers got to win some football games to get where they want to get, but feels like Florida is trending based on those who do a lot of prognosticating this time of year. I want to remind you, professional golfers John Peterson and J.J. Colleen answer all of your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download and subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. We are winding things down here on a Thursday. Hope yours is going quite nicely. When we come back, it's what we do always on Thursdays, give you your best win and worst loss on the board in college football as well as the National Football League. Come back with us on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal. They're elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana each and every day here on Hunt and Hill. All October long, it has been our pleasure to tell you about Fresh Junkie Racing.
Yeah, Fresh Junkie Racing is a group of racing enthusiasts that have taken their love of running and built a business providing citizens from across the state a way to get moving and stay moving. Created by athletes for athletes, Fresh Junkie Racing hosts world-class road racing events and triathlons right in Louisiana, welcoming crowds from across the globe to experience this place we call home.
You want to get moving on Thanksgiving? Turkey Trot here in Baton Rouge on Convention Street. That is Thanksgiving morning. Also the Tammany Turkey Trot taking place in Covington on North Columbia. Those are, again, Thanksgiving morning. If you want to get the blood moving before a big old lunch, you can do that. 18 events every year from Fresh Junkie Racing here in Louisiana. Louisiana Marathon, the biggest of them all. $5.2 million in economic impact on our great state. Fresh Junkie Racing doing its part to keep people healthy and active, also helping out our economy here in Louisiana. That's why they are a champion of Louisiana. If you know a champion of Louisiana, whether it's a nonprofit, a person, a business, anybody doing great things in our great state, we need to tell their story right here on Hunt and Hill like we are Fresh Junkie Racings. They are a champion of Louisiana, presented by LWCC. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. Let's go, defense!
We get it done.
With passion for our fans.
And love for our community. We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Ryan Clark joins us. Mike Triplett talks Saints, and Paul Nolan of freewinners.net. It's all on Thursday's AFR. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, happy Thursday is going well here on Hunt and Hill. Football Friday coming at you tomorrow, even though the Tigers don't have a game. Saints certainly do on Sunday, and we are still locked and loaded from 7 a.m. to midnight tomorrow, live and local. Starts with the guys on OTB, 7 to 10 in the morning from 10 to noon. Jimmy Ott's game time coming at you from Rufino's. Charles Hanniger sits in with Jimmy for that. Then they switch names of the show and don't even move seats over there at Rufino's, and they do Handy Time from 12 to 1. It'll be Mario and Jeremy on Hunt and Hill tomorrow from 1 to 3. Matt on AFR from 3 to 6. At 6 o'clock, it'll be Louisiana Prep Preview with Cade Wassan and his cast of thousands getting you ready for Catholic High football. We'll have that call here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and after that game comes to its conclusion, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard with Cade and his crew right here on set. And they'll go until about midnight. So locked and loaded, 7 a.m. to midnight tomorrow for a Football Friday here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. All right, time of the week. Best win and worst loss on the board, college football and the NFL. We start with our best win in college football. And to me, Jeremy, if they were to overcome a 22.5 point number down there in Jacksonville, it'd be pretty large for Billy Napier and company. I don't anticipate it, but I didn't anticipate them playing with Tennessee either. I thought Tennessee would roll them, and they didn't, because Anthony Richardson threw for 450 yards and ran all over the place and was sensational. He is still the best athlete on the field when he takes a snap. They're wildly inconsistent, and for 3 quarters against LSU, we're totally asleep. But he's got some ability, and anytime he's out there on the field, maybe. We both took Georgia. I don't even expect Florida to cover. But if they can win that game, beat Florida for the lost 4 out of 5 in that series, they're recruiting a little bit better than they were back in the summer. Just gives you something to feel a little bit better about. That would be, to me, the best win on the board in college football if they can get it done. You don't look as convinced.
Not convinced at all. Look, I know some people in here in Baton Rouge wanted to push Napier, get the ULL coach to the Tigers, but I don't know, man. I thought I saw chinks in that Bama, armor. There's holes in the Florida armor. There's holes all over the place. You can gash them wherever you want to gash them at, and you just put so much pressure on Richardson to just play just unworldly. And looking at the weapons he has on the outside, I just think that avenue is there, and running the ball in the teeth of that Georgia defense, like they couldn't run it on us with the backs. It's not looking good for the Gators, man. I just don't see it. But yeah, that's a great win. For me, I'm going to go with Ohio State at Penn State. I'm pretty sure I know Penn State. They should make this a whiteout.
But did a whiteout last week.
Yeah. Don't they do a couple? Or they
no,
just
I think
one
they
a
do
year?
one a year. And why would you waste your whiteout on that trash last week? I mean, I think it was it Minnesota?
Yeah.
Minnesota. Like, why? What do you want?
So
Ohio State's coming.
I guess they wanted to bank the win. Like, they didn't want to risk the win on them.
Give me the juice. We want the juice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, kind of getting – I guess I could say exposed. I know you're undefeated Penn State, and Michigan just ran the ball down your throat and kind of, put you where you wanted to be in college football. But I think if they can get, the number one team in the country coming into town, find a way to beat Ohio State, knock them off a peg – that'd be a huge win. They don't control their destiny because they do have that loss over Michigan. But if they can beat Ohio State, I think that's a really big-time win, probably one of the best in college football.
So, for sure, it definitely would be. Penn State is running the risk right now of kind of ending – I mean, the rest of their schedule is very manageable after this. But that Michigan loss is brutal. If you lose to Ohio State by a lot and then you stumble at some point against either Indiana, Maryland, Rutgers, Michigan State – teams you shouldn't lose to, all of a sudden it's just kind of like, all right, James Franklin, like that's 3 years in a row where we haven't really been a factor and we got dusted by all the good teams we were supposed to play. Like, what's the deal? So, again, you go win this game, it's massive. But if you lose and then you strip up in the last month against teams you're supposed to beat, all of a sudden your season takes a drastic turn south, and then you move on from an era where it seems like you've had the same quarterback for 697 years, and maybe they've seen enough of Sean Clifford, and they want to see a new era. But this is a 113th year senior quarterback. You'd like to go beat somebody that's really good. We'll see if they can do that. Worst loss on the board in college football for me. Look, you got a team that's undefeated, a team that everybody thinks is playing really, really well, a team that's coming off a great season. Have they figured it out? You would like to think so, but Michigan. Don't let little brother come over to Ann Arbor and do something here. Michigan State's coming in. They look awful. Mel Tucker was all the rage last year because he took in a bunch of transfers and they won a lot of games early, kind of pitted out at the end. Now they're awful this year. Michigan looks really good. Can't put all your eggs in the Ohio State basket and forget about little brother. We'll see. That would be a bad loss if Michigan State came into the big house and got a win.
Yeah, that would be bad. That would be terribly bad for Michigan. I know people are pumping khaki pins, and this is kind of what they envisioned when they hired him to take over that head job. He's got this thing rolling. They're really doing well in recruiting. He has a really unique identity when you kind of just look at the full landscape of college football. Everyone wants to spread you out, get the dual threat quarterback, but they're just running the ball right at you, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Blake Corum, here he comes.
Yeah, and they're going to play solid defense behind that, and they're going to have a quarterback that doesn't turn it over. So I guess that's kind of where Coach Miles got it from, the Michigan way, Michigan man. He's playing that Michigan man football up there right now. So that'd be a terrible loss for Michigan. I'm going to go with the team you said's got to just transfer right into the college football playoff. The TCU Hong Frogs, the Fighting Andy Daltons. They're playing the absolute one of the worst teams. They're not the worst. My boy Matt Campbell's holding that down for now. But West Virginia is the 1-4 in the conference play right now. So if TCU goes to West Virginia, has a sleepy game and loses to that bad football team, definitely not a one-loss to TCU.
West Virginia is not an easy place to play.
Yeah, it's not.
They're into it. They're loud. I mean, they're not very good anymore, so it's not what it once was. But it's just they can get rowdy over there in West Virginia.
Yeah, and that's what you got to worry about if you're TCU. You just had some really big-time wins this season against ranked opponents, and you're getting this sleepy West Virginia football team that's just, like you said, really not good. But that environment, you're on the road, it can get a little hostile there. They lose that game, no way they're getting in. Like they may put a 2-loss SEC team in before they put, a 1-loss TCU in. So, yeah, I think for TCU, that'd be the worst loss because they just have to, forget that's going to college football playoff after that.
So sometimes, like, if UCLA is not very good, like, they don't pack the Rose Bowl because there's other stuff to do. If Miami's not playing well, you're going to get people going to South Beach. They're not going to the game. In Morgantown, West Virginia, if you're not very good, they're still coming to the game because ain't nothing else to do. I've been to Morgantown, West Virginia. You either go to the football game or you burn a couch, and that's about it. Maybe drink some moonshine by the river. Like that's all you got in Morgantown. So they're going to be there, and I think they'll be pretty loud. So that would be a heinous loss for TCU. Best win in the NFL to me. Look, they've been terrible all year, but if the Packers and their quarterback can go to Buffalo on Sunday Night Football and get a dub, that would make a lot of people in Green Bay feel a lot better. That would make the team feel better, the fan base feel better, the coaching staff feel better, maybe even Aaron Rodgers feel better, but I can't promise that. It would be a really, really big win. I ain't picking it, but that would be a huge statement for a team that can't get its feet on the ground.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone predicted the Packers to be this bad. I know kind of that was a huge question mark losing Devontae Adams, the season he had last year, but yeah, the Packers just playing as bad as they have thus far. If they find a way to shift it around this quick and playing to me, you can make case Josh Allen's the best quarterback in football. They go beat that guy. That'd be extremely impressive. But I'm going to go with the guy that they wrote off, and he's not riding anyone back right now. I'm going on man Geno, taking off the Giants, who everyone says is back. I'm going to need another 8 weeks of this, maybe 9 if they keep pushing it on me here. But, yeah, if the Seahawks can beat the Giants and, take full control of the NFC West, which I think no one soul on this planet thought when you look at the Rams and the 49ers and some of the teams in that division, they could sole place of first place with Geno Smith. That's probably the best one in football.
That would be really good if the Seahawks could do that. Nobody, as you said, would pick them to do anything this year, and Saints beat them. So how good could they possibly be? Worst loss in the NFL for me. The AFC South's really brutal. Colts have benched their quarterback, and I don't know what they're doing. We thought the Jaguars are decent. I don't know if they are anymore. We know the Texans aren't even trying. So Titans, this is yours by default if you want to take it. You can't go to Houston and lose, though. So the worst loss to me is at Tennessee, who's not great, but by default they're the best team in the division. Don't go to Houston and lose. That would be the worst.
I mean, you're betting on the Texas. I'm going to go change this out. New verbiage for the Aggies. Texas 3-4. You're going to hang on to that this week. That's only their nickname for this week, Texas 3-4. So, yeah, the Texas 3-4 QB loses in Houston. Would I be shocked? Probably not too shocked by that. But to me, worst loss on the board, undefeated Eagles. They just made a huge trade to pick up Robert Quinn. They're flying high with my man Jalen Hurts. He looks like he's wearing the Astros gear. I'm not sure those Philly fans are going to love that too much. You're wearing
no, they're not.
You're wearing the Astros gear this week. Probably want to save that a little bit there. But Steelers,
he is a Houston kid, by the way.
Yeah, he is. But Steelers, just I don't think Tomlin's ever had to deal with something like this. No, he's a great coach, but looking at that roster, you lose TJ. Now you're shuffling quarterbacks. Now you got the rookie quarterback in there. The Eagles lose to that team, lose their undefeated season, and puts my boy Taylor Sharp's Cowboys right back in the fold of things. So, yeah, he's probably cheering for the worst loss of the week. I'm going with the Eagles losing to the Steelers at home. Can't lose to the Steelers.
Would not be good. A little Pennsylvania showdown there between those two. That is your best win and worst loss on the board for the NFL and college football. 104.5 ESPN is excited to see pro hockey coming back to the Raising Cane's River Center this winter. Tickets start at just $10 for games at Ticketmaster.com and the Raising Cane's River Center box office. Keep listening for your chance to win some from us and sign up to win at 1045ESPN.com. We will take another timeout, come back, and finish off a Thursday edition. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford. All the inventory is there at BayouFord.com. The Broncos are there. They are really, really nice. Check those out if you're more of a sports car guy. Want the Ford Mustang? They got those as well. I'm an Explorer driver. My dad's in the Expedition. Jeremy's got the F-250. All proud Ford drivers. We love them. If you're looking for a Ford, check it out at BayouFord.com.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They've got a new special tab that updates daily. It's complete with a photo of the vehicle, the savings you could score, as well as a video profile on the vehicle and all of its features. Don't see anything you love? That's okay. Keep coming back because those will update on the site as Bayou Ford rolls them out. It's all right there at BayouFord.com.
The website's awesome, like Jeremy said. I mean, every single car they've got, you can look at the video, the features, the Carfax are all there. Give it a look. If you find what you want, awesome. If you don't, they'll customize a vehicle and they can turn it around in 60 to 90 days. Bayou Ford is the website. BayouFord.com is the website. Bayou Ford, what they're going to do right. Bayou.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
College football doubleheader this Saturday. First, the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs face the Florida Gators in their annual rivalry at 2:30 p.m.
Then the Texas A&M Aggies host the Ole Miss Rebels at 6:30 p.m.
It's all right here on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, closing up shop here. Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. We do it every single day. We'll play some Take It or Leave It. Head coach Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers. Full support of Aaron Rodgers calling out the young receivers. Said sometimes the truth hurts. They've addressed being accountable to one another as a football team. Packers need to make a move for a wide receiver now. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking that.
I'll take
you
it.
see kind of the drops they've had. They're just bad drops, and normally veteran receivers don't make those. And normally when you had an opportunity to walk into the end zone, you normally probably lock in and catch that one, and they've been dropping big-time passes on 4th downs. Just the receivers just haven't been to the level, especially for a guy like Rodgers. He's not going to hesitate to call you out, and then he's going to, let you have it during the week too, so not just on Sunday. So, yeah, I think for the Packers, I don't know who they can get. You saw the Chiefs just make a move for a guy. They got to do something because if they keep it up like this, it's going to be a very, very long and bad season for them. So, yeah, I'll take that all day long. Alrighty, here. After pitching in one of the biggest games of his career and clinching a wild card spot in Minute Maid Park on October 3rd, Phillies manager Rob Thompson announced Aaron Nola will be on the bump for Game 1 of the World Series against the Houston Astros. Are you taking or leaving? Nola can replicate the performance he had on October 3rd.
I'm taking it. That guy is totally unflappable. Nothing phases him. I mentioned in the first hour talking about the outing against Sam Houston where everything went wrong in the first inning. LSU made 2 errors. They were the best defensive team in the country that year, and they racked up his pitch count and scored 4 runs. He didn't care. He shut him down the rest of the way and got to the 7th inning. He's totally unflappable, and he's got great stuff. I don't know that he'll beat Verlander because the Astros are really good and so is Verlander, but I'd put my money on him. I think the Phillies are going to win at Game 1. I just like the Astros in the series, so I will take that one. Kyrie Irving went viral playing a game, dumps off a pass to his trusty point guard who had a wide open look, and he screamed, "Shoot it, Ben!" Will Ben Simmons ever be aggressive and take shots? Take it or leave it.
Oh, man. I think this is going to the verge of insanity. And I saw someone, tweet something out, and I had to agree with them. It's like you watch those Ben Simmons highlights from LSU, and you look at the guy that's playing now. It's just a totally different guy. Like, I watched that game last night. He's dribbling the ball up the court, doesn't look at the basket one time, possession after possession, dribbles inside the three-point line and picks up his dribble. Doesn't look at the goal, doesn't try to go to the goal, doesn't try to attack, doesn't try to force a foul. And you look at him shooting free throws this year, I'm pretty sure he hasn't made a free throw all season. So pretty sure that has a lot to do with it. And so you got a guy that doesn't want to shoot free throws, doesn't want to attack the goal, can't shoot. I don't know what he does to change this around. It's just a bad time for him. And I know the mental health stuff, he's pulling on his back last night when he gets a shot blocked. It's just, I don't know what's going on with Ben. And when you're paying a guy $30+ million a season to play basketball, you expect him to play basketball. And so for Ben, it's just not looking good for him. And I think I see that Nets thing blowing up real quick. They're trying to be patient with him, but dealing with Kyrie and Kevin, it's going to blow up, and it's going to blow up bad.
He was really aggressive at LSU. He drove to the basket relentlessly. He always put up shots with his right hand, which I thought was weird for a left-handed player, but I didn't think anything of it because he was pretty good at it. He was a good player at LSU, really good. I don't know Ben Simmons, and I don't know what he deals with or what he's thinking on the court. What I can tell you is there's nothing to suggest there's any aggressiveness or toughness in there at all. There's nothing that he's done or said that would suggest he's got any toughness or any aggressiveness in him at all. And you can't play pro sports like that. I don't have any of that. So no one asked me to play basketball.
It's crazy because when you watch that same basketball game, you see Giannis airballing threes. You see him not even touching the rim, but guess what? He doesn't care. He literally put his head down, go to the basket, force him to foul or lay it in. Like a guy that's 6'11", with the athleticism and the speed and the ball handling skill that Ben has. Dude, just put your head down, try to get to the basket, but he just doesn't do it for whatever reason. And like I said before, you got Steve Nash losing his mind about the beat up referees. Things are just bad for the Nets right now. And I think it's going to continue that way, especially if you can't get Ben being aggressive and you go from Harden to Ben. People say, "Oh yeah, the Nets won that trade." I'm not so sure about that one. All right, you're going to love this one. This is a great take it or leave it question for Hunt Palmer. All right, Nolan Krentz, a member of the Norse Golf Club in Mount Horeb in Wisconsin, is credited with playing 17,820 holes of golf last year, which is a record equivalent of 990 rounds of 18-hole golf rounds. As of October, he's on pace to surpass that in shooting over 18,000 holes. Hunt Palmer playing 18,000 holes of golf in 1 year. Take it or leave it.
So I've been single and an adult with access to a golf course, and I've played a lot of golf. I played 45 in a day once, 18 in the morning, went right back out for 18 and got an emergency 9 in after that. I could play 36 every Saturday and Sunday if I had no other responsibilities in the world. Every single day playing 45 holes a day, that's a lot. Again, I could do it every weekend if I had nothing else going on. No wife, no kids, no relationships, no responsibilities, no football. I could do it. I would love to play golf all day, every day, Friday and Saturday and Sunday. But that's a lot. And then I started reading about this guy. He plays by himself. He walks every hole. He doesn't even tee the ball up on par threes. He just drops it down and hits it. Doesn't even sound like he's enjoying playing golf. He's just out there like seeing how many holes he can play. So, again, I could play more than most. It's never too hot for me to play golf, ever. It's never too much golf. It's very rarely too cold for me to play golf. I can do it, but that's a lot every single day by yourself. No social aspect to it, and not even teeing the ball up. And he only plays on a 9-hole course, so he's playing 9 holes over and over and over again. That's a lot. So I'll just leave that at that. I mean, you want to play? You want to do something 3 times a day, every day?
Dude, I don't want to eat that much times a day. I don't even like what is this guy doing, bro? Like, I guess that some guys have this weird like fetish to just let's get in the Guinness book. I don't care what it is. I just want to be written down in the ages. But 18,000 1,000 holes, man. That's
a lot.
That's crazy. That's way too much for me. I'm out.
That's it for Take It or Leave It. Who you got tonight? Lamar and the boys headed down to Tampa to face Tom.
Just for the Saints fan, just so they don't cry. And I got it, my man Sharif, I'm feeling bad for him. He needs a big-time Bucs loss right here. So I'll go with Action Jackson and Lamar just so I don't have to see, my man Sharif crying on air, man. That's a bad look. I can't have that.
You said yesterday that even if somebody says, we're taking care of things day by day, like, when the teams in your division don't win. The Saints could use any shot of life they can get. Maybe it's Kamara talking yesterday. Maybe it's the Bucs going out there and getting beat by 2 scores tonight and Tom blowing a gasket and breaking more Microsoft Surfaces and them going nuts. I don't know. But all of a sudden, the Bucs lose and you win, you're right there. Like, I don't know another way to say it. You stink. We think your quarterback situation is a total disaster that may take years to rebound from, but the records are what they are. So if you're a Saints fan, turn on that Amazon Prime tonight and grind Lamar and the Ravens. If you've been frustrated by your quarterback play, you can watch a guy that knows what he's doing out there tonight. Try to figure it on out. All right, you and Mario hold down the fort tomorrow. I'm assuming a little Saints talk from y'all. I'm assuming maybe a little college football talk and maybe a little Pels.
Probably all Pels. I'm gonna be sick to my stomach.
Tell him it's a football Friday. Can't get too deep in the weeds on the Pels. Look, I'm taking my hands off the wheel. Y'all fire away and do whatever you got to do tomorrow.
He sent me a picture of Victor Wembanyama in a Pels jersey with the #1 pick on it. Like, dude, can you stop? Like, they'll probably. I hope the Lakers. We won't win a game this year, and then they pull that ping pong ball and it's the 11th pick. How about that, Pels fans?
We shall see. I am headed out of here, but I will be back on Monday. Y'all have a great show tomorrow. If you missed anything on demand today, catch it on demand, 1045 ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. It's all right there. Jimmy Ott's Game Time tonight from 6 to 8. Matt McMahon about to drive you home on After Further Review. Have a wonderful Thursday. Y'all have a good show tomorrow. I'm back Monday. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Start NFL Week 8 off with the No Sweat Same Game Parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You'll get free bets back if your Thursday night Same Game Parlay doesn't hit. NFL Same Game Parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance for an even bigger payday.
Look, Saints fans, you're pulling for Baltimore tonight against the Bucs. Lamar Jackson have 40-plus rushing yards and the Ravens to cover 3.5 at the Bucs. That'll play plus 150 tonight. Sign up with the promo code 1045ESPN if you don't already have an account. If you already got FanDuel, you're all set. Just sign in and see what you got. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. 3 legs minimum. $1 bet required. Refund issues. Non-withdrawable free bet. Expires 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.